So hey there guys, I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. My room is a mess. I really need to clean it like ASAP. Like it's driving me nuts. So I'm gonna have to clean it with my mom probably like next week. So I primed my eyes with the Colourpop Party Proof Primer, and then I used Clarins lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh powder. I actually didn't even wear makeup yesterday because I didn't leave the house. I just didn't want to leave the house yesterday, so I just read all day. Today I went and saw my boyfriend, and then tomorrow I'm working. Then I'm going to see him on Saturday too, and then Sunday I have to go out for my friend's birthday. And then I'm possibly working Monday, and I'm also working Tuesday, and then I'm probably going to see him again. So I knew I was going to have like a full week after this, so I was like, I just want some downtime yesterday, and it was amazing. And then for my eyeshadow palette, I used the Fantasy Cosmetica, Druid palette. I still really haven't been sleeping that great. I don't know what is happening at this point. I just like barely fall asleep anymore, but whatever. So I went into Sage in the crease. And then I went into Old Growth on the defining area and the outer corners because it's such a deep shade. And then I went into Transformation. I didn't think I was going to use this palette today, but then I ended up using it. I'm like, I'm going to do a neutral look. And then I ended up wearing like a completely different shirt that I felt like wearing. And I was like, I kind of really want to use this palette. And I love this palette. It's so beautiful. I love the way that Fantasy Cosmetica's palettes perform. They're just so good. And then I went into Serenity on the inner corners, and that's everything that I used, and it was so beautiful. Like, the match just blend beautifully, and the shimmers are stunning. So, and they don't really crease. They're just gorgeous. And then I went into the Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone. And then I primed my face with the Do It spray and the Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer. And then for my base, I went into the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter because I've been using the Beauty Blender one like so much. And then when I don't use that one, I usually use my Colourpop Pretty Fresh powder, but I mean tinted moisturizer, but I haven't used this one in a little while, so I wanted to use this one. And then for my concealer, I used the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser, which is still one of my favorites. And then I set my under eyes with the House Labs powder, and then I set my face with the, God, this is so bright. Oh my God. With the Colourpop Pretty Fresh powder. And then for my bronzer, I went into the Colourpop bronzer stick in the shade Laguna Beach. And then for my blush, I just went into a blush in front of me. Oh my God, I just went into Lunar Has It from the, is this Lunar Has It? Or, no, it's called I Need Space from the Kathleen Lights collection, which from Colourpop, they're still like some of my all-time favorite blushes. And then for my highlighter, I went into the Soul Body highlighter in the shade Bronze Hour. I haven't used this one in a hot second, and I thought this one looked really pretty with the shirt that I was wearing. And then I set my face with the Do It spray, and then I set my brows with the Colourpop Brow Blush Gel. And then for my lips, I was just too lazy to grab anything, so I just went into a lip oil. And I just went into the Summer Fridays one again, because this one is just so freaking good. This is the Summer Fridays lip oil in the shade Blush Dreams. There's some really good palettes coming out right now, by the way. Like the Simply Posh palette is really beautiful. Also, the one from from Unearthly Cosmetics is really beautiful. The new like fiery one. And then there was another one that is coming. Oh, the Gloss Gods one. I've never tried their brand before, and there's like this really beautiful neutral palette that they just came out with that I was thinking about, but and the whole Lethal Avatar collection, like there's some really good indie palettes launching right now, but I think I'm just going to get one of the new Clionadh palettes because Clionadh is finally launching eyeshadow palettes, and these are like old releases that are relaunching and completely revamped. So they've been teasing them like all year, and I'm like, I think I'm just gonna hold out for the Cliona palettes as soon as they come out. And I think I'm just gonna pick up one of those. Because I've been really good about not picking up too many eyeshadow palettes this year. I think I only got one Nomad, one Ensley Rain, two from Colourpop. Actually, three from Colourpop, so it's been 5. And then, because I got the Beauty and the Beast one, the Golden Hour one, and the Pokemon one. And then the Ensley Rain Groovy Garden, the Nomad Celestial, whatever. I don't even remember what it's called. And I guess the Cold Moon came in like in January or February this year. That was like the first new palette that I had. So I think I've only tried 6 eyeshadow palettes this year. So I've been really good about keeping it like under 10. And it's like halfway through the year. So that's like kind of like 1 palette per month. That's what I'm trying to stick to this year. Because honestly, I have just way too many eyeshadow palettes. And now since I haven't been wearing makeup as often, I like will take a break from makeup every other week. At least like once a week. So I don't really find the need to have to get like every single eyeshadow palette because like I barely use half of them. I try to use them when I can, but it's like I've used all of my eyeshadow palettes and all of the shades in them multiple times that it's like it's not really super stressful for me to use all my eyeshadow palettes all the time anymore because I actually do use every single shade all the time. So, or when I'm testing out a palette, I'll use it multiple times. So it's like I'll still get my use out of it. So that's everything as far as the makeup goes. As far as a reading update goes, like I said, I was going to start the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires yesterday. And I got really far in. I got halfway through, so I got up to page 206 last night. And then today I'm on page 261. So it's like 400 pages. So I'm going to try and finish it tonight. It's super fast paced. I am loving this so far. It's just so intriguing that I just want to keep on reading it. And I finally read a male author's book. Besides, I think the only other male author I read this year so far was Rupert Holmes, and I just read Murder Your Employer. So now I have this one, so now I have 2. And then I'm going to read Riley Sager's new release when it comes out in like 2 weeks. So that'll be 3, even though Riley Sager is a repeat author for me because I've read 2 of his other books. I've never read any of Grady Hendrix's books before, but this was the only one I was really interested in. I don't think this one is too horror-y. I thought it was more like thrillery, and it has been more thrillery, and it's been really good so far. I just really enjoy his writing. I've just been loving it. I think that this is so good. This might potentially be a 5-star. It's just that there hasn't been too much vampire slaying yet, but I think it's just going to build up to her book club, like the main character's book club, slaying the vampires in their neighborhood. And it's just been so much fun. It's so funny because I was just looking to see if there were like similar books to Desperate Housewives. And I feel like this is kind of like Desperate Housewives in a book with like vampires. And it's just been so much fun. I feel like this would be like such a great movie or TV show too. I'm surprised it hasn't been adapted because this would make a great movie. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So bye. Okay, so hey there guys. I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I just got home from work. This was like the only shift I really worked this week. I only worked last Saturday and then I worked today, so whatever. And then tomorrow, like I said, I'm seeing my boyfriend. And then Sunday, I'm actually doing something fun. I'm going out with my best friend and my 2 other friends for my friend's birthday, and we're going to do an escape room again. We've just been getting so into escape rooms this year, and originally they were supposed to go paintballing, like, which honestly would have been a pain in the ass because I don't paintball. That is not for me. Hell no. But they wanted me to go and watch them play, but honestly it's like kind of far for me. It's like almost 45 minutes away. But they actually weren't able to do paintballing, so I asked them if they wanted to do an escape room instead, and the escape room is a lot closer to where my friend lives, like the one we're going out for her birthday. We're going out with her and her husband, and then me and my best friend, and we're doing an escape room. And then so I asked them, do you want to do an escape room since you can't do paintball? And they were like, hell yeah. So we're doing that, and then we're going out to dinner, and then we're going back to her house to play games, so it'll be fun. And then Monday night, I was gonna see my boyfriend, but I actually am going to go out to dinner with my family again. We've been doing more family dinners lately, which is kind of funny. It's for my parents' anniversary. My mom said that she wanted me and my brother to go. But my parents' anniversary is actually on Sunday night, but since I already told her that I committed to going to one of my best friend's birthdays, like, I can't say no to that. And I requested off for that day like 3 weeks ago already. So I'm like, what do you mean? And also, like, why are you having us go with you? You guys should just go together. But she said that she wanted us to go. So I was like, okay. And then Tuesday I'm working. And then Wednesday I should be able to see my boyfriend again. So that's why I'm glad I didn't go out on this past Wednesday. Because like I said, I knew I was going to have a packed week after this. Or like the next few days. So anyway, I primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer, and then I used the Clarins lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the Dior Backstage powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette today, I decided to go back into my Nomad New Zealand Stargazing palette. I didn't get any compliments today, but I think it's this shirt. I think this shirt is just too small for me. But I still think it's really cute. I've still worn it twice. I probably should have gotten it in a medium, but whatever. It still looks cute on me, so I don't care. So I went into, I'm not going to say the name because I usually butcher them, but this one's just called Southern Lights, so that one's a bit easier. So I went into that one in the crease, and then I darkened up the crease more with this shade. I can't even read the font half the time. And then for the outer corners, I used another shade from another Nomad palette because I wanted just a brown, and there's no brown in here. And then for the lid, I wanted to go into Manganelic Clouds. It really transforms on the eyes. It becomes like a lot more peachy. I wish that it was a bit more white base because that's kind of what I wanted on my lid today. But it's not really as like white yellowish in the pan as it is on the eyes. It's a lot more peachy tone on the eyes, but it's fine. And then for the inner corners, I used Aurora. I can't read it, but I used this like pink shifty whitish duochrome shade, and it's really pretty. So I only used like 4 shades from this, but I wanted to get more use out of this, so I went into that palette. And then for my outer corners, I went into the Akavango Safari palette, which I might just use this palette tomorrow because it has like all the shades that I want to use. So I might just use like this top row tomorrow for my look. I went into Honking Hippos, which is like the dark brown. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep this out and use it tomorrow because I kind of really want to. So yeah, that's good. Because like I've been kind of wanting to just go across the board in my drawer and just use like all my palettes as much as I can again. And just use like each palette as much as I can. Like maybe I'll do like one brand each week and use all my Nomad palettes and use all my Odin's Eye palettes and then use all my Natasha Denona palettes. Like I want to do something like that. So I just get more use out of like all my favorite palettes, but also like I want to just rotate a lot more palettes at this point. So anyway, and then for my brow bone, I went into Brighter Days from Blend Bunny, of course, from the Forget Me Not palette. And then for my waterline, this light is giving me a headache. Let me just lower it a little bit because wow, it's bright. I went into the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Prance. And then I just went into the Essence Lash Primer. And then I went into the Tarte Tartelette Tubing Mascara on the top lashes. And then the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then I primed my face with the Do It Spray and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. And then for my foundation and concealer, I just went into my House Labs again. This is the House Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 050 Fair Cool. And then for my concealer, I went into the House Labs Concealer. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder. And then I set my face with the Dior powder again. And then for my bronzer, I went into the Gucci bronzer in the shade 01. And then for my blush, I just went into this older Flower Beauty one. I just felt like using it in the shade Flower Pots powder blush in the shade Peach Primrose. And then for my highlighter, I originally went into the Makeup by Mario highlighter again in the shade Pearl, but it wasn't really like that pigmented, and it wasn't really the shade I really wanted to use. So I just decided to go back into my Eau and Dye Soul Main palette, and I just went into like this bluish shade. It's like a bluish white. It's so pretty. I will completely butcher the names if I say it, and it's just a really pretty like white base bluish color, and I really like it. So I just used that instead. And then I set my face with the sorry, I sent something that was really funny in the book that I'm reading, and the main character's name is Josh, and that's my boyfriend's name. I mean, obviously it's a really common name, but there was something that I sent to him that like reminded me of him, that like the character made fun of in this book, and he's stealing my life story, so that just made me laugh. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup setting spray, and then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow, and then sorry, this is a shirt I got from work. And then for my lips, I went in with my Colourpop liner in the shade BFF. And then for my lips, I went into the Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Peachy. I don't really support Anastasia as a brand anymore, but I still have quite a few of their products. Why am I putting this in my drawer? I don't know. So that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And then as far as a reading update goes, I did finish the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires this afternoon. I didn't finish it last night, but I got pretty far yesterday. I got up to page 355, so I still read like 150 pages yesterday. I was just getting too sleepy to finish it. So I just ended up finishing it this afternoon. That would have been like 200 pages yesterday, and I just didn't really have as much time to read as I did on Wednesday, but still it was 150 pages, and I freaking loved it. I gave it a 5 stars. I loved it. I thought it was so good. I ate it up. It kind of gave me, I feel like it was the suspense that I wish Murder Your Employer had, but Murder Your Employer was still so funny. But this had like suspense, it had a bit of graphic stuff going on, it had humor, it had thriller aspects, it had supernatural aspects because they're slaying a vampire. It was just, everything was just so good about it. It's kind of a very controversial book because it takes place in the South, and people think that, you know, he's just being not fair to some of the black characters in the book. But this is like the 90s in the South. Like, you're going to deal with racism in the South, like, no matter what. And I don't think that the author, like, wrote any of the black characters wrongly. And they did have a pretty prominent black character in the book. Like, one of the main women that ends up joining the book club is one of the main characters. So I still loved it. I gave it a 5 stars. I thought it was great. I ate that book up. I finished it in like less than 3 days, and I loved it. So the next book I decided to jump into is The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, because I really would just like to get all of Abby Jimenez's books finished. So I'm going to read the whole Friend Zone series. I have the Happy Ever After playlist right behind me. I just started this today, but I got up to page 62 already, so I still read the first 60 pages. This is actually everyone's least favorite Abby Jimenez book. So far, I think it's really funny. I think that this is going to be a little bit more of like a warmer fuzzy type of vibe than like more serious. There was like one part that I was like, okay, is this going to get like dramatic? But so far it's been making me laugh really hard. So I just love her writing, and I think I'm still going to really enjoy it. Will it be my favorite? I don't know. I'm going to have to see once I finish it, but this seems to be her lowest rated book on Goodreads, and again, it's like not her. This is probably everybody's least favorite Abby Jimenez book. But all of her books before this for me in the Part of Your World series were 5 stars for me because I just love them with my whole heart and soul. So I don't think I'm going to love this series as much, but we will see. Maybe we'll have 1 5-star in this. Maybe we'll have 0. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a 5-star, but again, I'm not sure yet. I won't get the vibes until like probably the last like 50 pages. But again, like I don't really try and rate a book anymore until I finish it. So like sometimes I'll get like maybe it's a 4-star vibe like halfway through, or I'll feel it like it's a 4.5 once I get like 75% in, and then really like the last 50 pages like determines whether or not it's going to be a 5-star or not for me. I mean, I'm sure that's how most people rate their books. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye. Okay, so hey there guys, I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I lost my contact earlier when I was taking my makeup off, so I just put my glasses on. So I went and saw my boyfriend today, so I primed my face with the Colourpop Party Proof Primer, and then I used the Clarins Lip Oil, and then I set my eyes with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette today, like I said, I was going to go into the Nomad Akavango Safari palette. I just felt like using Nomad the past couple of days. And this is such a good, easy palette to use. Excuse me. So I went into Elusive Leopards in the crease, and then I went into Pack of Wild Dogs on the to define the crease, and then I went into Honking Hippos on the outer corners, and then for the lid I used Leaping Luches, something like that, I don't even know. And then for the inner corners I used Roaring Lions, and then I just used Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone. But the more and more I use this palette, the more and more that I like it, that I realize that I don't need any other palettes from Nomad. Like, I just used the Stargazing one yesterday, and that one was really pretty. But I still really like this one over the Stargazing. I need to do a Nomad ranking video at some point, because I have 7 of their palettes, and I was tempted by the St. Patrick's one that they came out with recently, but then I was like, well, I already have greens in this one. I didn't really feel like it was necessary for me to get like a full green palette when I don't wear green eyeshadow. I mean, I kind of went through a phase where I was wearing green looks more, because I really love wearing green looks. They're so pretty on me, because I like these. The reason why they're so pretty on me is because I like the warmer tone greens. Like, you guys know how much I love warm tones, and since this is such a warm tone neutral palette from Nomad, it's like perfect for me. So these warm greens like look good on me because they bring out like my brown eyes and stuff. So I just really love green looks, but I kind of want to use this a bit more. I might use it like not this coming week, but next week, but I already got use out of it this week. So, and then I think I'm gonna use the Pokemon palette tomorrow, because I actually still have a few shades to test out in it. I just wanted to use some palettes that I've been wanting to use again for a little while, and I'm gonna use the green shades from this tomorrow. I'm probably just gonna go down this row and use these, because I want to use this shade because I haven't been able to use it yet. So I'm going to do a green look tomorrow anyway. But you see how these are like completely different, a different tone of green. Like, that's why I really love green shades, because there's so many different tones of them, and same thing with blue and purple. I think that's why like color intimidates people sometimes. It's because it's not exactly the color. I think it's more so like the tone of like the color, like the different variations. Like, you can wear a pastel blue or like a pastel green, or like the way that Nomad did the greens in this palette make them like more approachable. And then like in the Pokemon palette, this is like bursting with color, but like they still mixed it with like neutrals and stuff. So like, I feel like this is so approachable for neutral lovers, because you can always add like a pop of green on the lower lash line. And this is like a really good day to night palette too. It's like when you do the neutral look for work and then you go out afterwards, all you do is pop on like a green on the lower lash line and like a black liner. And there's your night look. You could still wear like the neutrals on top and just add one of these to the lower lash line, and it's super pretty. I've done that quite a few times with these, and it's just so stunning. So the more and more I use this palette, the more and more that I really, really love it. So it was a grower on me. I didn't love it at first, but I'm like, this is actually a solid palette. So, and then I used Makeup Forever's Artist Color Pencil in the shade Limitless Brown on the waterline. And then I used the Colourpop Lengthening Mascara on the top and bottom lashes. And then I primed my face with the Do It Spray and the Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer. And then for my foundation and concealer, I just decided to go back into my favorite combo, the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation in the shade 1RO2. But this bottle splatters everywhere every time I do it. And of course, like the one time that I don't hold it away from me is when it splatters. And I forgot to do that today. And it got a little bit on my pants. I was so pissed off, but whatever. And then for my concealer, I just went into the coinciding concealer in the shade 3D01 1.1N. And then I set my under eyes with the House Labs powder, and then I set my face with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh powder again. And then for my bronzer, I just went into the Milani bronzer in the shade Dolce. And then for my blush, I just went into I think this one is called I Need Space, but I just decided to use this one because I haven't used this in a hot second, and this used to be like my go-to blush. I would use it almost every single day, but I've just been wanting to use the Colourpop blushes again from Kathleen Lights because these are still their best blushes they've ever done. This one's the shade Lunar Has It. Just the tones of these are so freaking stunning. I might use this orange one tomorrow actually because it's so beautiful, and I need like I wanted to wear like a vibrant orange shade tomorrow, and I think that's going to be perfect. And then for my highlight, I did go in originally with another highlighter, but it wasn't doing it for me, so I just went into the Cindy Grace one again. I swear, this palette always comes so in handy because these two highlighters are so stunning. This one, oh my god, Jesus, I just put a dent in it. This one is called Golden Wonder by Cindy Grace. Jesus, got like that all over the place. And then this is Dreamscape from Colourpop, which is like one of Kathleen Light's favorites, and I got it just because she recommended this one. And this is one of the best highlighters I've ever used from Colourpop. It's so blinding, and it's perfect for my skin tone because it's so like white based, but it's like the perfect like white golden highlighter. That's why I use these all the time, because I can count on these to look good every time. And these two from Cindy Grace are so good too. Like I use those as some of my go-tos too because the highlighters are so pretty. And then the Blend Bunny ones in this palette, forget it. I just use these highlighters all the time because they're so good. And then I just have the Noctilucent palette next to me. Like if a highlighter isn't doing it for me, I either pop on one of those ones from the Forget Me Not palette or the Noctilucent palette, or the two that I showed you, because I know that those are always going to be blinding and gorgeous, and I don't have to worry about like what brush I'm using. I've just found that when I get older, like, I don't know, more highlighters are looking more texturized. Maybe that's why. It's just because like my face is getting more texturized now as I get older. I can't wear certain highlighters anymore that I have. I might like declutter quite a lot. I might just throw them out. I don't even know at this point. I have so much makeup that I haven't listed on Poshmark that I want to sell, and I've never gotten around to listing them. Anyway, and then I set my face with the Rare Beauty spray, and then I set my brows with the Colourpop Brow Blush Gel, and then for my lips, I just went into the Tower 28 Lip Balm in the shade Dolce de Leche. This is the Lip Softy tinted lip treatment. Okay, and that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And then as far as a reading update goes, I'm still reading The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I got quite a bit in last night, and then today I only read 40 pages, but I'm going to read more right after this. I'm on page 170. I think 170. Yeah, 171. So I think I still have a little bit less than 200 pages left, but I'm really enjoying this so far. I think it's really funny. I just love the way she writes, so I'm going to enjoy her books no matter what, and I'm definitely going to finish this series. I think the only thing I'm going to read in between this, I'm hoping to have the Happy Ever After playlist finished by like the 11th. Today's the 8th, so that should give me like 2 days to finish that, and this should take me, probably should finish this hopefully before I go out tomorrow afternoon. That's what I'm hoping, or I'll just finish it tomorrow night. It's not the end of the world. Like, I've only been reading it for a day and a half, but it's just so easy to read. Like, it's already taking me no time to get through this book. And then I'm hoping to have this one done by the 11th or 12th. So that'll be like, I don't know, I think my 5th book read. I mean, it's still the beginning of June, so that's good to have 5 or 6 books read, because after that I should finish the book that I'm reading, and like after I finish Happy Ever After playlist, I should finish the book that I'm reading pretty quickly, because then after that I'm going to read The Housemaid is Watching, because it comes out on the 11th. So that'll be my first Kindle read for this month, and then I'm going to finish the Abby Jimenez series and read Life's Too Short. And then after that, it's free reign. We'll see. So yeah, that's it. Bye. I mean, I'm still going to stick to my TBR mostly this month. Like, I'm not really drifting for my TBR. I'm just waiting for the 2024 releases as they come out, and then I'll just read them on my Kindle most likely. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there guys. I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. So like I said, I was going to go to out for my friend's birthday today, and we went and did the escape room, and then we went out to dinner, and then we ended up going and doing another escape room. That's a whole nother saga. Some shit happened that they offered us a free escape room, but what's a little bit annoying about that is that we had already done all the escape rooms after today in that place that we went to, because it's like the closest place for me and for my friend, because it was her birthday. So we ended up doing the escape room, and that was the last escape room that we needed to do there that we hadn't done yet. So, but it was still fun. Then we went and got hibachi, and the food was so good. And then we went and did another escape room that we already did, so we just let our other friend do it because he hadn't done it yet. And then we went and had cheesecake back at their house for her birthday. So that was it. It was nice. It was fun. So I primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer, and then I used the Clarins lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the Urban Decay pressed powder. And then, like I said, excuse me, I was going to use the Colourpop Pokemon palette today. And I really wanted to use the greens again because it went really well with this shirt that I got from Lucky recently. I just think this shirt is really cute. I thought it was one of the more well-made shirts that we came out with lately, and I just really like this color on me. So I went in, like I said, with these 4 shades, and that's all I use because this green is so pigmented. So I went into Tall Grass in the crease, and then I went in with Fainted on the defining area on the outer corners, and then for the lid I used Celadon City. And then with this look, I don't have to worry about it literally going anywhere. It lasts literally all day. So I've had this on since like, I think like 2 o'clock. And then for my inner corners, I went into Viridian City. Did I already say that? Because I wanted to use that shade. Basically like the reverse of the shades that I used last time when I used the greens. And then for my, excuse me, brow bone, I of course went in with Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone from the Forget Me Not palette. And then I went into the Makeup by Mario liner in the shade Black on the waterline. And then the Essence Lash Primer. And then I used the Tartelette Tubing Mascara on the top lashes. And then the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then for my face, I primed with the Do It Spray and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless hoodie primer, excuse me. And then for my foundation and concealer, I went into my Glossier foundation, which I love, in the shade Very Light, I believe. Yeah, and then for my concealer, I went into the Urban Decay Naked Quickie Concealer in the shade 10NN. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder, and then I set my face with the Urban Decay Pressed Powder. And then for my bronzer, I just went into my House Labs bronzer. I don't know why it's over here. My House Labs bronzer in the shade Light Level 1. And then for my blush, excuse me, I went into the Makeup by Mario blush in the shade Just Peachy, which is, you know, such a beautiful cream blush. It lasts for hours. And then for my highlight, I went into the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter in the shade Iced Out. But I kind of feel like it faded a little. You could still see it, though. It's still really pretty. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup Setting Spray. And then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, I went into the Colourpop Minute Man Lip Liner. And then for my lippy, I went into my Glossier lippy. This is the shade Curve. Because again, I always love like orange and blue together, or green and orange together, because they're always complementary colors, and I love orange and purple together. I use orange a lot, but also like I feel like it pairs so beautifully with like this teal kind of color on my eyes, and I just love this look. It's so pretty. Oh my god, I'm so tired. So that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And then as far as a reading update goes, I didn't finish this book last night, but I'm about to finish it pretty soon. So I'm still reading The Friend Zone, but I'm on page 318 now, so I only have like 40 pages left, so I'm just gonna finish it now. Like I said, I've been really enjoying this. This might be 5 stars for me too. I just love her writing so much. The thing is that I'm not loving the female character, but I love the male character. I really do. He loves her way more, and like is trying to do like everything he can for her, and she's kind of being a bitch. I don't really love her character that much, but I love the story. I really do. And I thought this wasn't going to be too serious, but something sad really just happened, and I'm just like, I thought this was going to be a fun one, but it's sad. But I actually ended up listening to some of the audiobook before, because I actually found it on Spotify Premium too, so I was listening to it while I got ready, because I was only able to read like 30 pages earlier today because I had to get ready for my friend's birthday around 1, and I was just listening to a few chapters while I was getting ready. So yeah, that's why I got further in, but yeah, I didn't finish it last night, and honestly, it's not the end of the world, because that only would have been like a day and a half that I was reading the book. I just got up to page like 255 last night, and then I just watched an episode of Desperate Housewives. So I'm not going to drive myself crazy not reading. I think I've been reading more and faster because I haven't been spending like all my time reading. Like I'll take a break and watch Desperate Housewives and not read all night. And I'm just like, I'll finish the book tomorrow. Like I'm still going to finish it. It's just either finishing it tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night, you know, like it's not the end of the universe. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there guys, I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. So like I said, I was going to go out to dinner with my parents for their 40th anniversary. We actually just got home. We just got home like 10 minutes ago. We were only out for like an hour and a half. So I just stayed home and washed my hair today and read. So I primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer, and then I used the Clarins lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the Dior powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette today, I wanted to go into the Natasha Denona Gold palette. I've just been wanting to use this for a little while. Ever since like the new golden palette came out, I kind of wanted to whip this out and use this again. And even though I think this pretty much has the same amount of mattes in here as the new golden palette does, the matte selection in this palette is so genius. Like, you don't need to use any other mattes when you use this palette. Even though there's only 6 mattes and 9 shimmers, this is still like one of my all-time favorite palettes in my collection, because it's so, the mattes that are in here, you know I love my warm tones, but like it's just the tones of the mattes, and this teal it just makes it perfect. Like every matte goes with every shimmer in this palette, and you never get bored with them because like these are the kind of like Natasha Denona color stories that I find that I have all the mattes that I need, because even though there's only 6, there's like 3 that add depth, and that's all I need. And even though these mattes are lighter, they're not too light. So then again, I'll never get bored with this palette. I just love it so much. So I went into, I think I just went down this row. I went into this shade in the crease. Then I defined the crease more with this shade, this one right here. And then for the outer corners, I went into this shade right here. And then for the lid, I decided to use this like super sparkly shade. The reason why I love her like older toppers is that they're so beautifully smooth on the lid that you don't really need like any other shade, because it adds like such a beautiful like sparkly effect that it's not too sheer. It's just like a beautiful wash of color, but it's like pigmented enough so you don't have to necessarily use it as a topper. It can be as like a regular eyeshadow too. And then for the inner corners, I went into this shade. I'm not going to say the shade names because it's just a pain in the ass, so, but I still love this palette. And then I went into Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone. And then I primed my lashes with the Essence Lash Primer, and I used the Lancome Idol Mascara. And then for my waterline, I just went into the Makeup by Mario brown liner. I forget which brown it actually is. I think it's like the warmer tone one. And then I went into the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then I primed my face with the Do It Spray and the Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer. And then for my foundation, I went into the Dior Forever Skin Glow in the shade 00. And then for my concealer, I went into the LYS Concealer, the Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer in the shade LG3. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder. And then I set my face with the Dior powder again. And then for my bronzer, I also went into the Dior bronzer. This is the Dior Forever bronzer in the shade 04 Tan Bronze. I don't even know if they have this available anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't, but I just used it anyway because I still have it, so I'm going to use it. And then for my blush, I actually went into my Jouer Duo. I haven't used this in so long. This is the Blush Bouquet in the shade Adore. I don't even know if they have this anymore. But I went into Hold Me and Adore Me. I went into mostly this shade, and then I just tapped a little bit into this one just to add a little bit of warmth. And this is still a really good blush duo, but I just felt like using it today because I haven't used it in so long. And there's still really good blushes. God, who uses Jouer anymore? Like, seriously, though. And then for my highlight, I went into my Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade 01 Fair. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup Setting Spray. And then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, I went into just my Tom Ford lipstick because what else am I going to use for a special occasion? And this is the shade Blush Nude. It's just such a pretty, like, pinkish color. I was trying to use something else, but I still love this lipstick. So that's everything as far as my makeup goes. And then as far as the reading update goes, I did say I was going to start the second book in the Friend Zone series from Abby Jimenez because I finished the Friend Zone yesterday. So I went into the second book, which is the Happy Ever After playlist. This book is so freaking adorable. I'm already liking this book more so than the first one. And also the two main characters from the Friend Zone play a pretty big part in this book, because this is pretty much a straight up sequel. In the Part of Your World series, they're more of like interconnected standalones, but I would say still read Part of Your World first because you get more of this, like, of an experience in Yours Truly if you read Part of Your World first, because both of the characters make appearances in Yours Truly, but in this, the two main characters from the Friend Zone really play a big part in this book because this is all Sloane's story, and Sloane was the best friend of Kristen in the Friend Zone, so now she's finding her love in this story, and I just am eating this up so far. It's so freaking adorable. I'm on page 153, so I got pretty far. I got like 150 pages in already. And it's just so adorable and so easy to read, and I'm just eating this up. So I really, really am enjoying it so far. I'm definitely liking this one more than the Friend Zone. And I don't know if I said my thoughts on the Friend Zone. I liked it. I forgot that I finished it after I said my makeup look. I gave it a 4.25. I almost was just going to give it a 4. But the reason why I gave it a 4.25 is because I really did like Josh. I really liked the main male character. I wasn't really crazy about the female character. I thought she was kind of mean. And honestly, I feel like Sloane has more of a reason to not be in love with someone or push somebody away than Kristen did in the first book. In the second book, this is all about Sloane finding her true love again. And you'll understand that if you read the Friend Zone first and then went into this one. But so far, I understand why the Friend Zone is like her least favorite book from people, because it was not a 5-star for me. I thought it was potentially going to be, but it's just the main female character was just turning me off. And I usually I don't know. I just felt like she was being mean for no reason almost more than 2/3 into the book. It wasn't really like a friend zone fun thing anymore. It was just more so that she was pushing him away and thinking like her situation was never going to work with Josh. And I just didn't really like the way she was being towards Josh. And also I didn't like the way that she was treating her fiance either. Or actually like her current boyfriend that she was supposed to be with. He was away on military deployment. And he comes back and she's just so rude to him that I'm like, I don't know, it was kind of turning me off. But in this book, she's completely different because, she's Sloane's best friend. And, she's basically, the reverse role of what Sloane was in the first book of saying you need to be with Josh, go be with Josh. That's how Sloane would be in the first book. And now in the second book, Kristen keeps on, I don't know why I keep on wanting to say Christian, but Kristen keeps on encouraging Sloane to be with the guy that she wants to be with, but she wasn't sure if she was supposed to be. But Sloane is already nicer to Jason than Kristen was to Josh in the first book. I don't know. She was kind of being a bee when all Josh wanted to be was to be with her. So those are my thoughts. I think I'm going to like this book a lot more. I already think this book is so adorable and so full of warm fuzzies. It's the cutesy little romance that I was looking for with the Friend Zone. I don't know if it's going to take a sad turn because most of Abby Jimenez's books do. And that's what happened in the Friend Zone, even though I thought that it was going to be a little bit more cutesy. It took a turn for I guess for the worse because, somebody dies. But in the second one, I'm really enjoying this one so far. So that's it. I'm rambling. I had a drink at dinner, but dinner was so good. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. So I actually got home from work. I worked a pretty long day today. I worked from 12 to 8:30. So yeah, I'm freaking tired. So I primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer, and then I used the Clarins lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the Urban Decay pressed powder. I'm not trying to talk like a robot. It's just that I got home counting the cash drawer and then pet my dogs. So I don't want to put my hands near my face or anything because it smells like money. So I'm going to wash my hands right after this. And then for my eyeshadow palette, I wanted to go into the Pokemon palette again because I wanted to do a yellow purple look with this, and I think it turned out nice. I'm just not crazy about the purple shades in this palette. There's some spectacular mattes in here, and then there's some not so great mattes, and I find that the only 3 mattes that I don't really like is this purple shade, this brown shade, and the yellow isn't always super vibrant, but at the same time I think it looks pretty. It kind of wore off a little bit here, but I was not just going to reapply it for this. So, And you can't really see it from far away, so I don't really care. So anyway, I went into Saffron City in the crease, and then I darkened up the crease more with Lavender Town. And then for the lid, I went into Drying Pan. Or is it, yeah, Drying Pan. I don't know why it's called that. It has, obviously it's a reference to the show. And that's everything I use. And then I just went in with Champion on the inner corners. And that's it. I just used the 2 yellows and the 2 purple shades. And I think it turned out really pretty. So I think I only have 2 more shades to use. I think I just have Indigo League and the red shade. So I've used mostly all of the shimmers. But I find I really like the greens and the blues in here more so than the purple shades. I really like this purple shade, but this one was difficult to work with when I tried to do a purple look with this shimmer. So, I don't know. I feel like it's just like this part of the palette I'm not that crazy about. But the greens are amazing. The greens lasted on my eyes all day, and so did the blue shades. So, I still need to use this shade and do a blue look with it, and then just do... I don't know what kind of look I'm going to do with the red. I don't know why they didn't put like another shade to go with this. I'm probably just going to use it with the neutral shades, but I don't know. But anyway, that's everything I used from the palette. And then I just went into Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone. And then for my waterline, I wanted to tie in a little bit of the red that I was wearing. So I wore like this... Don't mind that. That just rode up for some reason. I wore this dress, and it has like purple and yellow and green in it and everything. And I just wanted to wear it today, even though I was only working with one of my coworkers. I still wanted to wear a dress because I was working like a longer shift. So I went into the cream gel liner from Colourpop in the shade Joyride, just so I could have a little bit of that red on the waterline. And this actually lasted way longer than I thought it was going to, probably because I kind of broke off a little bit of it to make it more pigmented. And then I primed my lashes with my Essence Lash Primer, of course. And then for my mascara, I just went into the Lancome Hypnose Mascara. And then I went into the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then I primed my face with the Do It Spray and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. And then I went in with my Lancome Teen Idol Ultra Wear Foundation in the shade 120N. And then for my concealer, I went into my Tarte C Concealer. I just went into my go-to combo because I knew I was going to have my makeup on for a while. Still looks really good. And I went into the shade 8S Porcelain Sand. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder. And then I set my face with the Urban Decay pressed powder. And then for my bronzer, I just went into the House Labs bronzer. Again, in the shade Light Level 1. And then for my blush, my nose is running. It's so annoying. I went into the Kaleidos Lo-Fi Duo Blusher. And I used this shade. I haven't used it in a while. And I just wanted like a softer peachy shade today. So this is the shade Punch. And this is a really beautiful shade. And I really love the highlighter in here too. But it's funny that I didn't really think about that I was using both Kaleidos products until right now. Kaleidos, whatever. So I also went into the Kaleidos highlighter in the shade Solar Sailor because I love this shade and it lasts all day. Do you see how good that looks? It's like this lime greeny yellow shade and it's just perfect for this. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup Setting Spray, and then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, if I can reach it, I'm using my Beauty and the Beast backpack again. I love this backpack so much. I went into the, I didn't even go in with lip liner because I was running late, of course, in the morning. So I just slapped my lippy on. So this is the NARS lip cover, not lip clover, lip cover in the shade Get Dirty. I hate NARS's names. I really do. Like, why? Why? It's just so annoying. I mean, like, names can be sexual, but it's like, it's so, like, cheesy at this point, and it's just like, if somebody asks you, like, what lip shade are you wearing, and I'm gonna say to them, oh, I'm wearing the lip shade Get Dirty. Like, how does that sound? It's just ridiculous. So that's everything as far as my makeup goes, and as far as the reading update goes, I did finish the Happy Ever After playlist this afternoon at work. by Abby Jimenez. I finished it so quickly. I think I finished it in like 2 days tops because I started it on Sunday night and then I finished it today. So that was only like all day Monday. I read a lot yesterday. I think I got up to page like 280 yesterday. And then I just finished it today because I was on page like 318 by this afternoon because I was listening to some of the audiobook as well as I was getting ready because that was also included in Spotify Premium too. But I still read quite a decent amount of the actual book. I might have only listened to maybe 100-ish pages on the audiobook, and then I listened to the rest of it. And then I read the rest of it, obviously. I think I read over 200 pages of it. So, and it was really cute. I really liked this one. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5. It didn't, I swear to God, in every single Abby Jimenez book, I have cried. I think in Emily Henry's books, I don't remember if I cried in Book Lovers. I might have. The only one that I didn't cry in was Funny Story because I really didn't care about that book that much. But I cried in every other single one of her books. And then I cried in all of Abby Jimenez's books so far. There's just one part that gets me, but with the Friend Zone series, when like the guys confess their love to the girls in the book, there's always something that like the guy says to the girl that makes me cry. She's just so good at that. But I definitely liked Sloane's story a lot more. I think Abby Jimenez learned from the Friend Zone to not make the main characters so mean. Because I feel like a lot of people were turned off by Kristen in the first book, including myself. Because like Sloane like deals with a lot after the first book. I mean, if you've read the first book, you know what Sloane has to deal with. So, like, Sloane would have every reason to push away Jason, but she's so sweet to him, and, like, they only really break up for, like, a really valid reason. So that's why I enjoyed this book more. It was just super duper cute. But I needed a break from the romance. I'm kind of getting a little bit sick of romance right now. I've been reading a ton of romance lately. So this book came out at the perfect time, and I said I was going to read this book as soon as it came out. But I'm glad that I finished the Happy Ever After playlist before I started this one. So let me just bring up the cover. So this book just came out today, and I'm already 100 pages in. So, of course, I had to read The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden, and that's what I'm reading right now. And this came out at the absolute perfect time for me, so then I can take a break from romance. And yeah, it's just a good palate cleanser right now. And I just needed a thriller, and I needed like a short book because her books are so easy to finish and read. They only take like 6-7 hours tops. So I'm already 100 pages in. I read all of this at work. I finished the Happy Ever After playlist at work, and then I started this at work because you get a lot of time to yourself sometimes, or there's a lot of downtime. So, and this is really good so far. I have a feeling that I'm probably going to like this one more so than the second one. I still really liked the second one, but I feel like this one is building up to be really good already. Like, not anything too crazy has happened yet, but I bet it's going to kick off from here because Frida McFadden has a great writing style that she just grips you in the first, like, 100 pages, and then it's like, what is going to happen? But that's, like I've said, that's the problem with thrillers, is that once I start them, I cannot put them down. I have to know what happens. So, but I'm super excited to read this because I'm like, I've had enough of the cutesy romance right now. I love romance so much, but I'm starting to get a little bit sick of it. I love Abby Jimenez, though. I'm still going to finish the series after I finish The Housemaid is Watching, but it's a good little break. I'm probably going to start this by tomorrow night or probably Thursday and finish this before the weekend because this one is super short and it's called Life's Too Short. So But yeah, I'm still super excited to conclude this series, and then also I will have finished all of Abby Jimenez's books after I finish this one. So it's not just finishing this series, it's also finishing all of her books. So that will be really a great goal that I have accomplished this year. But also then after I finish The Housemaid is Watching, I will also finish that trilogy too. So that's good that I'm finishing 2 reading goals this week. And then after that, I don't know if I'm going to jump into romance again. I might jump into it. Well, actually, I'm going to jump into a fantasy book. Because I really, really want to read The Serpents of Wings of Night. Both of those books are available on Kindle, and I might just binge both of those books this weekend and just read both of them back to back, just because I really can't jump into romance right now after I finish that one. But it's Abby Jimenez. That's why I'm not dreading reading it or getting too sick of it, because I love her books so much. And since this book is so short, it's not going to be as uninteresting to get through, because it's sometimes you just need to be in the mood for that type of book. But I'm still sticking to my TBR mostly this month. These are all books on my TBR right now. So I'm still sticking to it. And I think this is the first month that I'm actually going to stick to it fully. But I don't know if I'm going to read the 2 summer romances that I have lined up. I might save them for the first week of July, because I kind of want to read some other fantasy books, because I'm so in the mood to read fantasy right now, because I haven't read it in a while. And I was getting a little bit sick of fantasy last month, and I only ended up reading 3 fantasy books, and now I want to read more fantasy books this month, and thrillers. I'm still in the mood for thrillers. I don't think I ever could not be in the mood for a thriller. It's just that I made it my goal to read more thrillers this month. And also I read The Housemaid and The Housemaid is Watching. The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret last week. And I also read The Reappearance of Rebel Price in May. So at least I had read 3 thrillers, because I really didn't read too many thrillers this year. I think I've only read 7. So I really wanted to read more. And then I have Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And then Middle of the Night is coming out by Riley Sager next week. And I'm 100% reading that as soon as it comes out. So maybe I'll just read Then She Was Gone after I read Life's Too Short, because again, I really cannot read another romance right now. And then I'll probably go into the Spanish Love Deception after that. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey there guys, I want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. So I just went and saw my boyfriend today. So I primed my eyes with the Colourpop Party Proof Primer, and then I used the Pokemon Pokeball because the Clarins lip oil was leaking somehow. And then I set my eyes with Colourpop Pretty Fresh Powder. And then for my eyeshadow palette today, I decided to go back into my Glaminatrix Nearly Natural palette, and I used some of the neutrals in here. So I went into Simplicity and Barely There in the crease and the defining area. I think I did Barely There in the crease area and then Simplicity to darken it up, or maybe it was the other way around. I think Simplicity first and then Barely There. I can't remember. And then I used Naturally on the outer corners, and then for the lid I went into Second Skin. So actually, whoa, what was that? Because I actually don't really, why is this dirty? I don't really use this shade too often, so I was like, you know what, this one's kind of calling to me. I mean, I could have used this gold, I could have used the natural one or the peachy one, but I really wanted to use this one because I don't really use it as often as the others, and it's just such a beautiful palette still. I'm really glad I used it today. And then for the inner corners, I used Naked Eye, and that's everything I used from the palette. And I just went into Brighter Days from Blend Bunny on the brow bone. And then I went in with the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Brown. And then I went into the Essence Lash Primer and then the Colourpop Lengthening Mascara on the top and bottom lashes. And then for my face, I just went in with concealer today because I got late I got late. I got ready pretty late today, so because I told my boyfriend I wasn't going to be over until a little bit after 4. I got there at like 4:15ish. And I used the Kulfi concealer in the shade Bad Bantam, and then I set my under eyes with the Colourpop. Actually, the House Labs powder. Excuse me. And then I set my face with the Pretty Fresh powder, and then for my bronzer, I just went into my Colourpop bronzer in the shade Alviva Beach. I just wanted to show the progress I've been making on this. I've been making a decent amount of progress, but not going to hit pan anytime soon. And then for my bronzer blush, I wanted to use my Tower 28 blush because I haven't used it in a hot second. This is the shade Magic Hour. Still some of my favorite cream blushes. I kind of want to go into some of my cream blushes again. And then for my highlight, I used the shade here Kitty Kitty from Colourpop. This is still a great highlighter as well. And then I just set my face with the Do It spray. Then I set my brows with the Colourpop Brow Gloss Gel. And then for my lips, I just went into a gloss because sometimes, like during the summer, I just want to wear concealer and gloss. It's just so much easier. I used the Colourpop So Glassy Lip Gloss in the shade Solana. And it's just such a beautiful gloss. So yeah, that's it as far as my makeup goes. And then as far as a reading update goes, I actually finished 2 books today because I finished The Housemaid is Watching on my Kindle, but I also finished the second book in the Boys of Tommen series. I finished Keeping 13 on the audio book on Audible. Can I speak? So that's now officially the first audiobook that I listened to in full this year. I listened to that book entirely. I didn't read it at all on my Kindle. I just wanted to get at least one audiobook listened to this year. Even though they're all available on Kindle Unlimited, I really have been having such a great time listening to this series. So, and I'm going to do the same for the other 3. So now I'm on the 3rd book, which is Saving 6. I haven't started it yet because I just finished Keeping 13 when I got home. And it was so good. It was definitely 5 stars. I've been listening to it for like a month or so. I mean, it does take me longer to get through audiobooks. I don't always listen to them when I'm getting ready. I'm either like watching a YouTube video or I'm filming a video, or sometimes I'm listening to an audiobook or I'm listening to music. So usually I'll listen to an audiobook over music now, and I'll even listen to an audiobook over watching a YouTube video. But if I need to film, I'm obviously not going to listen to an audiobook. But yeah, it was so good. I think I said already that I gave it 5 stars. I just love this series so much. It's so good. And I wanted to review that one first since I started that one a lot earlier, but it was just so good. I just love Johnny and Shannon's story. But this is now the conclusion of their story, and then the Saving 6 is going to be between Joey and, I forget is it Claire? Is Claire his girlfriend? No. Aoife. Joey and Aoife. Duh. But I just absolutely love the characters of this series, and I think that's why it makes them 5-star, because the situation, the comedy in this book and the drama and the sexual tension and all of that, and the sad, domestic violence kind of, plot points that she covers with Shannon's family and Shannon's abusive father. It's just incredible, and Johnny's parents are just incredible human beings, but they're also really funny. And like one moment, Johnny's mother will give him like advice, and then the next moment she's like embarrassing the shit out of him in front of Shannon, and it's just so freaking funny. Gibbsy is hysterical. I just love this series so much. So I hope that the other 2 books will be as funny, because I just love Johnny and Shannon so much. They're like top 5 favorite book couples for me. After this, I think, you know, number one is always going to be Rizand and Feyre. I love Rizand and Feyre so much. They're like my favorite characters of all time. I just love them so much. I don't care if Sarah J. Maas is overrated. I would die for Rizan, okay? Like, I just love his character to pieces. He's still my favorite character of all time. But, like, these are really good, like, top 5. Johnny and Shannon. And then, obviously, Aelin and, Rowan, of course, from Throne of Glass. I love them. I also love Dorian and Aelin. And then I also die for Peyton and Kai from Powerless. I love them so much. I love Evangeline and Jax from Once Upon a Broken Heart. I love them so much. And also love Violet and, oh my god, what is his name? Why can't I remember the other character's name? I remember Dane's name. I'm doing a Fourth Wing reread before the third book comes out in like December or January. Depends on which month I decide to do the reread in. But I'm definitely rereading the 2 books before that. But anyway, let me stop rambling. I just love them so much. What is my other favorite book couple, though? I feel like I have another one. Oh, Wrath and Amelia? Is that her name? Wrath and Amelia from the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. I love them to pieces. So yeah, anyway, I finished The Housemaid is Watching on my Kindle, and I didn't really love this one. I thought I was going to like it more. Remember when I always say, oh, I think this is going to be a 5-star. I think I'm going to love this more than the second one. No. This one was definitely the weakest one out of the 3. The first one is perfect. Such a good fucking fantastic fast-paced thriller. The second one is great too. I actually think the second one is almost 5-star. It was a very high 4.5 for me. It's still a great book. But this one was the weakest one out of the 3. So I would say number 1 is The Housemaid, number 2 is The Housemaid's Secret, and number 3 is The Housemaid is Watching. And that just so happens to be the order that you read it in. I mean, it was a good conclusion to the series, though. Like, I feel satisfied that it's over, and I'm glad that I finally read this series. And again, they take like no time to finish. I had a feeling I wasn't going to finish it last night, though. I got almost 250 pages into it yesterday. And then I finished the last 100 pages today. So I already read 100 pages today of that book. And it was just, I felt like this one was a lot more safe than the other 2. I didn't really get that super chilling feeling like I did from the first one is like chilling. That lives in my brain rent-free now. The second one is not as chilling. I didn't really get that super chilling feeling from the second one, but the story of the second one is so good. But the third book, it just irked me that we were like almost 200 pages in, and I feel like we still didn't get enough from the other characters on why the neighbors were the way they were. And when you found out why they did what they did, it just kind of fell flat for me. So I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. I didn't think this one was as good as the other 2. I don't hate it. I still think it's a great series. I would definitely recommend, if you want a fast-paced thriller writer, Frida McFadden is perfect. I really want to read One by One very soon. I'm probably just going to binge that in like one day. I really would just like to binge a thriller in one day like I did with the reappearance of Rebel Price. I have like a couple of options for that, but Frida McFadden is literally like the fastest paced writer out there because her books are so short, and that One by One book is like less than 300 pages. I think it's like 250 pages. So yeah, it was just, I loved the ending of this one though. The ending was perfect. But it's just like it took so long to get there. Even though this book, I think, was just a little bit longer than the other 2, I felt like it was dragging a little bit. Like, I'm like, enough about Enzo, enough about her. Like, I want to know why the other neighbors are doing what they do. And what I liked about the first two books is that I felt like this one was a little bit absurd and a little bit far-fetched as to which character actually performed the stabbing in this book. When you find out who it is, it's a little bit dumb, to be honest. I understand it's not too far-fetched, but at the same time, it's like, I had already guessed that way before. Like, this was so predictable, and the twists in this book were not really shocking at all. That's why I felt like, I'm like, meh, it's like a. I was really looking forward to a good thriller read because I was reading quite a bit of romance, and I thought the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires was a better, like, thriller read than this. Because that one was building up the suspense and everything. You got a little bit chilled and scared in that book. So I just thought that book was so good that this one kind of pales in comparison to that. But it's still Frida McFadden. I'm still a fan of her writing. I still think it was fun. It was just not as good as the first two. So it is what it is. It's still a great series. If you want to read it, I'm not going to stop you. I still think it's a really fun time. So yeah, as long as I have a good time reading a book, that's all that matters. Like, I'm just giving you my opinion because we all have different opinions when it comes to why we love certain books and why we don't. It doesn't mean I hate them. It's just certain authors are for certain people and certain books are for certain people, and that's it. So yeah, that's it. Bye.